everyone has the right to choose what they want to do. And, he had a great career, and he was a great player. So everybody wishes, they could be healthy all the time. And it's a very, it's a contact sport. And he's, certainly had his fair share of injuries.
Tom Brady speaking to WEEI earlier this week about the surprise decision of Andrew Luck to retire from the game at the age of 29. And I just can't help but think at some level, it's almost like Highlander, right? Remember that movie, Chris?
Yeah.
Where another one's down and Tom Brady gets stronger and he keeps going. And it fuels him to go even farther, to play even longer because it's so rare. And when guys are dropping off before 30 and he's still going before 40, I feel like he's going to push it to 45 and beyond. Maybe, who knows, he pushes it to 50. He still looks like he's in his 20s.
He still looks great. There's no doubt about that. I mean, his arm is still as strong as ever, and it's a special arm that way. Excuse me. The big thing with Tom Brady will never be his arm or his decision-making or understanding how to play the game. It's going to be, is he willing to stand there in the pocket and not flinch and do some of that where it affects the decisions or the throws? We saw some of that at points last year. Now, they overcame it, and he overcame it because he's freaking Tom Brady and he's awesome. But there were moments, and I remember going on radio stations in Boston and TV stations in Boston where they saw it too. I think it's been kind of a race from everybody's memory because of the playoff run and the Super Bowl, and he was phenomenal. But there was question marks there in late November and December. Ooh, it doesn't look like the Tom Brady we saw, or anything like that. But it's absolutely amazing, and I think it's even more amazing that he kind of tinkered with his motion the last few years to really extend his career, make him better now than he was in 2012 and 13, Mike.
Chris, remember that moment against the Steelers where it was like he saw a ghost and he threw the ball and he was supposedly throwing it away and it got intercepted?
That's what I mean.
Right at
there
the goal
was a few
line.
of those.
The prime example.
Sure.
Yeah, like what do you really see there? And it's always the legs to watch, not the arm. We've talked about this before. Once he starts getting hit because he can't move away from pressure the way that he used to, that's when he's going to begin to wear down. The arm will be there, but if he doesn't have the legs to get away from pressure and he starts throwing the ball prematurely because he senses that pressure when maybe he shouldn't, that's when he's no longer going to be Tom Brady. But he still is #Tommy.
Yes,
he still is the all-time greatest in my book. I know you would say Aaron Rodgers. I say Tom Brady.
That's okay. That's totally arguable. I understand it.
But without Andrew Luck,
right.
and I don't know how big of a rival Andrew Luck ever was. He had the potential to become one, and Chris Ballard had that mic drop moment in early 2018. The rivalry is back on. They got together in a playoff game a few years ago, the day before Deflategate hit. It did not go well for the Indianapolis Colts. But who are Tom Brady's rivals right now in the NFL? He's got those 3 young quarterbacks in the AFC East that are not ready to consider themselves Tom Brady's rivals. So who are they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I don't know if there's any one guy out there, especially that fits that role of being like Peyton Manning. We know that was his number one rival. Now, yeah, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, they have winning records against him. Russell Wilson, of course, lost the biggest one. He lost the Super Bowl, so that this is regular season stuff we're looking at here. Drew Brees has done well, but we only see that matchup once every 4 years. Big Ben has certainly struggled. Hey, we could throw Eli Manning on this list too. Now, Eli, I think he's 1-2 in the regular season, but he's 2-0 in the Super Bowl, and then that means 3-2 against Tom Brady. So I don't know if there's one out there right now. It does look like Mahomes and Brady could be playing 2 more times again this year. I'll say that much, and to where that could start to become something maybe if Brady continues to play the year after this, and then again they might play again 2 more times that year to where we get one more little rivalry with Brady. But I don't know if anyone truly stands out right now.
Hey, and let me tell you, I mean, Mahomes 0-2 against Brady, but Mahomes did everything in his power to win those 2 games.
Yep.
That was Brady rising to a higher level with the chips down. He had the big throw to Gronk in the regular season game when it was going back and forth, and then he had the drives that tied the game and won the game in overtime in the AFC Championship. But, if you're looking for that true rival, it has to be somebody that you're likely to encounter in the postseason.
Yes.
And it feels like Mahomes is that guy now.
Right. Yeah.
Even though Mahomes is yet to beat him, and it feels like this is the year that the pendulum may swing. I think this, and the more I ponder this, Chris, the obsession from Coach Bill Belichick to win games on the road, because they went 3-5 last year. They don't want to go back to Kansas City for a playoff game this year because I think Belichick knows deep down you're not going to escape 2 years in a row from that setting. Your only chance of beating Mahomes in the postseason is to bring him to you. And they're conscious that even though Bill Belichick never looks beyond today, they're conscious of that, and that's part of the planning. They need that 1 seed if they're going to face Mahomes again in January.
Well, he knows Mahomes is only going to get better, so he's not going in the season going, well, he might fall off. He knows he's going to get better, and the Kansas City defense can't get any worse. That's again too. It always drives me crazy when we get into the quarterback versus quarterback conversation. I want to go, well, there was a lot of other guys on the field there.
They're never on the field together.
I know
it's a rivalry, and they're never on the field at the same time.
It does drive me crazy, but I know the business we're in, and I'm a football fan too, so I get it. But yeah, I mean, Kansas City's defense stunk. I mean, they were one of the worst in football. Their secondary, they blew it up because it was so bad. And then there's, the Patriots who have a phenomenal team. But I'm with you, the Mahomes one, and I do think that the Pittsburgh one could get real. I think the Steelers are the real deal. I will be shocked if they're not standing there, at least in the playoffs when the season comes to an end. And, I think their team is built now better than ever to match up with the Patriots. Since the Patriots, too, have kind of changed their style of play where we've talked about, more two-back running sets, running the football. That plays into the Steelers' hands more. Their issue was when it was Wes Welker and Edelman and Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski and everybody was spread out and they were playing zone defense and Brady was just boom, 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 picking them apart. They couldn't match up with that. But you want to play smash mouth, Pittsburgh can match up with New England that way. That's where I think it's a little bit more dangerous maybe than years past.
Cam Newton, the Panthers quarterback, is 2-0 lifetime against Tom Brady. They've yet to meet in the Super Bowl. They could have in Super Bowl 50. That was the game where the Patriots had to go to Denver, and they couldn't get past the Broncos. Otherwise, it would have been Cam Newton versus Tom Brady in Super Bowl 50. Russell Wilson, 2-1 versus Tom Brady. The loss coming in Super Bowl 49. And you could argue that if the play calling had been a little more astute on the sideline, Russell Wilson would be 3-0 against Tom Brady, and how differently we would feel about those Seahawks teams of several years back, and we'd feel differently about Tom Brady if he hadn't won that game.
Oh, gosh. I mean, then all of a sudden they would have been 3-3 in Super Bowls. I mean, we would have been going, damn, New England hasn't won a Super Bowl in 11 years. What's going on here? Certainly, history would be a lot different if they just gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch up the middle. The other guy we got to mention, who I think was up there as far as other than Peyton Manning for performing the best. Okay, maybe Eli too. I got to give Eli credit too. Eli did win a game up in New England in 2011 and then of course won the Super Bowl. Other than those two though, Joe Flacco was a pain in the butt for the New England Patriots. He was one of the few quarterbacks in all of football that was never fazed by, I got to go up there and play the Patriots and deal with the Boston mystique and all of that. He deserves to be in this conversation nonetheless.
Oh, I agree with you completely. 2-2 against Tom Brady in the postseason. And, if the Denver Broncos somehow would dramatically improve this year, the last thing Tom Brady and the Patriots would want to do is have to go back to Denver.
Right, yeah.
First of all, you don't want to go to Denver anyway, but then here's Joe Flacco, a guy who's had success against the Patriots, who would be the quarterback. And obviously, if it would get to the point where the Patriots have to go on the road to play Denver, that would mean the Broncos had a really great season and that this Joe Flacco experiment worked out incredibly well. We also have to mention another guy who recently retired from the NFL, although who knows, maybe he'll unretire and come back and play football sooner rather than later. Mark Sanchez, the last guy to beat the Patriots, Chris, in the divisional round. They have not lost a game in the round of 8 since January of 2011, when not all that long after the Patriots destroyed the Jets on a Monday night in December, the Jets went to Foxborough and splattered the New England Patriots with Mark Sanchez and that stellar road playoff record. But got it done, and
that's why I hate this conversation. That's why I hate it. I mean, that Jets defense was phenomenal. That was the reason they won that football game. Mark Sanchez threw for 190-something yards in that game, but we're going to give him the credit for winning. That's my biggest problem with the NFL right now. Quarterback. Oh, screw the other 10 Pro Bowlers on the Jets team. We're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about Mark Sanchez. That's the issue I have with this, but you're right. Rex Ryan was the only AFC East guy that's given New England true issues in the Belichick era. He's the only guy that stood up to them and they were threatened by. And I know when I was working there in New England in 2012 into 2013, that was considered their rival. There was certainly a level of intensity that went up in the building when it was Jet Week. There was no denying that.
Okay, we've talked a lot in recent weeks about our belief that between the Bills and the Jets, one of those two teams potentially rises up to contend for a playoff berth. Of those two teams, and specifically of those two quarterbacks, Josh Allen in Buffalo, Sam Darnold with the Jets, which one is more likely to become a rival of Tom Brady before Brady retires?
Oh, that is a good – I mean, because I love both of these guys, and I think there's support systems there finally to where they can flourish a little bit. I want to give Josh Allen the edge here, not because I think he's a better player than Sam Darnold yet. I think Sam Darnold's still got an edge on Josh Allen. Maybe the ceiling's not as high, but he's still got the edge as far as a player right now. But I'm taking in the Sean McDermott factor. Sean McDermott, he has been a pain in the butt for that New England offense. He's got a great feel for it. Even last year, I know New England beat them twice, but if we went back and watched those games, you'd realize, Buffalo really hung in there with Derek Anderson at quarterback and made life hard on Tom Brady and things. So if I had to take it all together that way, but I do think Sam Darnold's a little notch above Josh Allen right now, is just being surgical, having a better feel for the game overall as a quarterback. Josh Allen's still growing into that a little bit.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.